Are you looking for a more sustainable solution to joint stiffness, muscle soreness, and chronic pain? If so, I'm hosting a live webinar April 13th, Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. That's 8 p.m. Eastern. Head over to the description section of this podcast to register or go to www.flexwithDoctorJay.online/pain freedom. You'll be learning the 6 steps that allowed me to transform my own life and get rid of years of chronic neck and back pain for good. You'll also get access to proven methods to automate exercise into your life, feel stronger and more mobile, and have the ability to return to the activities you love with your friends, family, and kids. If you want long-term pain relief in your life and tired of treatments that only last short-term, there is a ton of info you'll love in my Sustainable Pain Freedom training next Thursday, April 13th at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And it's absolutely free. So go to www.flexwithdoctorjay.online/pain freedom and look forward to seeing you live. Welcome to the One Body, One Life podcast. Hi, I'm your host, Dr. Jason Wan, lifestyle physical therapist, and I talk about everything health and wellness related so you too can have a more resilient body and a more fulfilling life. If you haven't yet, it would help me greatly if you can leave a 5-star rating on Spotify or iTunes. That way I can continue to grow this channel and push more free content to all of you. And today I'll be sharing 3 reasons why you need to take action and stop procrastinating on your health, especially those who struggle with chronic pain on a daily basis. I'm speaking specifically to people who feel that they are far too busy, always have a ton of things to do, and rarely have any time to take care of their own physical and mental health. This obviously is called running on empty and is not sustainable by any means. And so this hopefully should be a good kick in the butt for those who've been taking minimal to no action towards becoming pain-free. So let's dive into some of the reasons why you need to take action now for your chronic pain and not wait on it. And so the first thing I want to tell you guys is a quote that I got somewhere and it always stuck with me, but basically it basically changed my life and allowed me to not procrastinate anymore on many things, including my health. So the quote is, if you work hard now, you'll make it very easy to live your life later. But if you take it easy now, you'll struggle to live your life later as well. So what does this mean? So imagine you just going through life without exercising, eating well, sleeping, some of just the main pillars that we know about our health. And so we're not really taking care of ourselves and we're just going through the motions. The motions are taking care of your kids. It's going to work. It's basically maybe chilling and doing random things on the weekends. But a lot of times it doesn't really push the boundaries on your mental or your physical health. It's not very challenging. You're just going through the motions. So for one, if you're just going through the motions, then you're just letting life pass by. And I don't think that's a good quality of life. I always try to embrace every moment. The second thing is, if you are somebody that is not really taking care of these things, like you're eating junk, you're not exercising, you're skipping the gym, you're skipping your workouts, you're going to bed whenever you want, and all you do is simply just go on to Netflix, then simply enough, years down the road, it's going to be a lot harder. And what I mean by that is that your body will probably become stiffer. You probably will have a lot more pain. You might develop some sort of life-altering diagnoses that encourage or that basically pushes you to try to make those changes. So why would you wait for some sort of debilitating disease or some sort of pain to really get so bad that now you have to take action? And the more holistic way, and probably the more sustainable way, is to develop better habits, such as exercising consistently, at least getting in 120 to 150 minutes per week. That's not asking for a lot, but that's just generally the American Heart Association recommendations. But exercising 120 to 150 minutes per week of moderate intense exercise. So for some of you that say, I walk, I do day-to-day activities, even just taking care of my kids, that feels like exercise, that simply isn't enough. That's just more so your daily activities. So instead, if you want to continue to walk or continue to play with your kids or continue to do those things, you want to do things that are harder than that. You want to pick up dumbbells. You want to exercise more. You want to eat the right foods so that you can recover better from those more intense workouts. In order to recover as well, you want to be getting at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep, which I said in my previous episode of my podcast. So ultimately, when you're looking at what you're doing now, like I'm at age 34, turning 35, I would say that's not young, but that's also not old, right? There's a lot of 20-year-olds on the basketball court that I'm still playing against, and I have to keep up with them. But I'm also not super old where I basically say I can't do that anymore. So I'm at in terms of my life, I'm at a point where I have to say to myself, I'm at a tipping point where 34 is technically is past your prime, but I can choose what I do with my life. So I can choose to optimize my nutrition even better than what I did in college so that I can continue to pursue these sports and continue to keep up with people that are half my age. For example, if I exercise 4 to 6 days a week and I do pretty intense exercises like weight training, then I'll be stronger, I'll be faster, I'll be able to move better. And so if I continue to push the boundaries on the exercise and also recovering through eating and nutrition, that's going to allow me to enjoy these sports and enjoy the many essence and activities of life that I want to continue to do in order to continue to enjoy. But if I take it easy now, for some of you guys that are maybe my age, you might be feeling like, oh man, my neck and back really hurt. Oh my gosh, I'm not as fast as I used to be. I used to be really active. I used to go to the gym all the time. And because of life and kids and many other things, I put a lot of that on the back burner. Now I'm just taking it easy, going through the motions of life. And you're starting to realize I'm not that fast anymore. I'm more prone to injury. It takes me a lot longer to get out of bed. So this is just the beginning, right? Imagine if you're listening to this right now, you're 40, 50, and 60 years of age. You might be at that point where you're saying, yeah, I've actually been really taking it easy for a long period of time. Now I'm really starting to feel my age or feel older than my age. And now I need to take action. So if you're listening to the quote that I said, which is, if you work hard now, you can have an easier life later. If you take it easy now, you're going to struggle later on. You're already feeling the former of that. You're already feeling that, okay, life is already starting to feel like a physical and mental struggle. And that's perfectly fine, because if you're 50, 60 years of age, you still have a lot of life to live. You can still say to yourself, now I'm not going to take it easy. Now I'm finally going to start taking action on my health, my physical and mental health. I'm going to start meditating more, exercising more, eating well, sleeping better. And I can say to myself, I can still enjoy my life. I might have not tried hard the last 20, 30 years because maybe I put my kids or my career ahead of my health. But now I can finally start to make those changes. Okay. So I'm encouraging that because I, for one, I've made this podcast to encourage and motivate people to start taking care of their health all the time, all day, every day. Like for me, health is probably the pinnacle of what I stand for. It's something that I know a lot of my friends, cousins, family, they see me as that person that is an example. And I pride myself in that. I'm not saying that I put myself on a pedestal by any means, but I look at myself as I have a social media presence. I have friends and family that look to me now as FlexwithDoctorJay. I am that person, and I'm that dad that can still do a lot of great things. He can do a lot of things that require a lot of strength and endurance and ability. And I encourage my family to do the same. You can be that person as well. You can be that person that says, I made those mistakes. I took it easy. Now I have to work harder now because I have pain or some sort of other disease. You can finally start to make those changes and say, now's the time. Now's the time that I'm going to really push myself to get to the gym, to start picking up dumbbells instead of potato chips or remote controls, and I can really start to make a difference in my life. Okay. You won't regret it. Okay. This is just number one. The number one reason here is if you work hard now and you work hard the rest of your life, you're going to have a much easier time and a much better quality of life later on down the road. Okay. So let's dive into number two. And number two, the reason why you want to start taking action now is chronic pain is not just physical pain. If you didn't know that, now you know. Chronic pain is defined by any sort of pain or injury that lasts beyond the tissue healing, that usually lasts beyond 3 to 6 months. A classic injury or sprain usually will not last beyond 3 to 6 months. So if you're still having any ensuing pain, your pain is no longer just physical, it's also psychosocial. And this is somewhat convoluted because even with acute sprains, let's say you sprain your ankle, there's still emotions that ride with that. There's still, oh my gosh, now I can't run. Now I can't walk to work. Now I can't enjoy certain activities that I like. But with chronic pain, there's a lot more of a psychosocial component than somebody that just sprained their ankle recently. And so psychosocial, what that means is that there's a psychological aspect in which pain comes with fear, pain comes with anxiety, pain comes with depression, pain comes with, oh, here's the pain again. Now I'm just going to curl up in a ball and not do any activities, or I'm just going to rest on the couch. And I know that's very depressing, but that's the only way I can get relief. So pain, chronic pain is not just physical. So when you're looking at that, if it starts to literally interfere with many aspects of your life, it probably makes sense to start trying to make those changes now. You don't wait on that, because I always tell people that there are essentially 3 or even 4 pillars to life. And those 4 pillars that I think really make up the essence of a human being is 1, your relationships, 2, your financial health or your finances, 3 is your actual physical and mental health, and 4 is your purpose. So if you take those 4 aspects, which is relationships, finance, health, and purpose, think of that as 4-pronged stool. And that stool has 4 legs. So if you start to have a lot of discomfort in your body, or let's say the pain becomes extremely chronic, then what that ends up doing is it basically eliminates 1 leg of that stool. And when you hit 1 leg of that stool off, then that stool is rendered unstable. Now that stool is falling down. And so your health, because you knocked out that pillar or that leg of health, then it starts to weigh into your relationships. You become more moody. You start to show more frustration and temperament with your kids and your spouse. And they notice those things. When it comes to your health, you might take more sick days. You might just think, I can't go to work because my body's in too much pain. So then it starts to interfere with your financial health as well. And then also with your purpose, is that we all should have some sort of purpose in life. And my purpose is obviously to present this information to you and to help millions of people with health. But you also have a certain purpose, whether that purpose is contributing to the needs of others, or whether it's like you're a chef and you love to cook for others and you see the happiness in their face. Or maybe your purpose is to be the best example and the best model to your kids. But now with pain or some sort of other disease that you're going through, is that you start to lose that purpose, because your kids are now seeing you as the role model, but the role model is now slapping ice packs and heat packs onto your body, or you're just resting and you're not going on hikes with them because you have fear of flaring yourself up. Then you start to lose some of that purpose as a father or a mother. And that really sucks. So when you look at optimizing your health, and I think that health is one of the main things that really makes us human. Humans are bred to move. Humans are bred to get stronger. The human is essentially the most complex mammal in the world. So taking care of our health essentially bolsters and optimizes every other aspect of our life. If our health is in check, then you're able to keep up with our kids. We have better relationships. We have a better sex life. We're more intimate with our partners. We're able to do more things. We're able to pick up our grandkids without our body hurting. When it comes to our health, is that we have more energy at work. We're more easily able to focus at work. Therefore, it starts to show with our bosses and our colleagues. And therefore, your overall physical and mental health actually has been shown to actually increase your income, to actually get a raise, because you're optimized and you're clicking on all cylinders. And lastly, with your health, is that whatever purpose you have in life, is that when you have better physical, mental health, when you're stronger, you're more mobile, your body feels better, then you can really achieve, you can really actually go for that purpose. You have a lot more energy left in the tank in order to pursue whatever purpose that is. And like I said, if you knock down that pillar of health, it really burdens or destroys the other pillars. So when it comes to chronic pain, and when it comes to taking action on that, do you choose to just keep living your life the same exact thing that you've always done? The ice packs, the heat packs, sitting on a couch, resting, and then your body feels stiffer getting off the couch. Do you want to continue with that life, or do you want to actually try to make the changes that you know you can? So I wanted to just go back to number one, which is you work hard now and you're going to have an easier life later. Just to let you know that I have a program called the Pain Free Academy. By no means does that say to anybody that joins our Pain Free Academy program that you're going to live a completely pain-free life like after this. Is that you have to realize that these other short-term means of pain relief, like maybe injections or getting a massage once in a while, it's all short-term. But to actually work hard on your body and strengthen your body and consistently stretch and consistently get to bed on time, that makes it a lot easier for you. That your health is literally, you're actually expanding your life every time you go to the gym, every time you decide to eat something more wholesome and healthy versus the junk. When you decide to, okay, I'm going to go to bed at 10 p.m. and wake up at 7 a.m. so that I can get a full 9 hours of sleep versus I have the independence to just watch Netflix till 12 p.m. or be on social media, that is literally your choice. You have a divine choice on whether you want to live longer or whether you want to have a shorter life or whether you want to have a much easier time in life with less pain and more energy and more strength to do things, or whether you want to just give that all up super early and then be subjected to a wheelchair when you're older. I say this is one of those episodes where it's more about what is going to be your action, what is going to be your call to action. Every action that you take, whether you're on your phone for 3 hours or maybe you're just resting on a couch, not doing anything and not actually exercise, you're skipping out on your workouts. Every little action that you take surmounts to whatever your future is going to be. And I want you to let that kind of hit home, is that literally every action that you take now determines your mindset later on in life. It determines your future. It determines your physical health. It determines your mental health. It may be the difference between one version of yourself that gets heart disease versus the other version that has no heart disease, no blood pressure, no comorbidities, and continues to just thrive on life. And that's really up to you what you want to do with that. So just to recap again, number one was just about taking action now and taking hard action now, working hard now, so you can have an easier life later. And number two is just realizing that you need to take action now because chronic pain can interfere with every aspect of your life. It's not just physical. You might not realize it, but it affects your mood, your finances, your relationships, and everything around you. So number three is a little bit more holistic, a little bit more just a wholesome thing that I want you to understand. Number three is you want to take action now because your life is worth living. I've talked with many people that have either worked with me directly and have seen their lives changed, or people that maybe have gone a different route and said, your program or the way you do things, it seems far too ambitious. It seems like it's going to take too much work. It seems like I don't have enough time to commit to your type of program. I'm not sure how brutal or how hard your workouts are. I'm not sure how much effort I'm going to put in. And when I hear these things about why people decide to not take action or not work with me, it's very sad. It's disheartening because when you look at people that say, don't have time to exercise, I don't have time to commit to your program or commit to any other program. It's not that you don't have time. You don't make time. You don't make time for the things that are actually important. You make time to watch that 2-hour Netflix episode. You make time to watch those movies. You make time to drive to McDonald's and grab whatever the hell you want. But you don't make time for the things that actually are going to inch the needle forward in your health, that are going to make you 1% better. You don't take action on the things that are hard to do. So I've always told my clients is action before motivation, because I see this far too often where people, they have to motivate themselves tremendously in order to make the changes that they want. And the truth is motivation is, it's fuel to a car. It's fleeting. It's going to not last. Like you can watch a model and see her body and be like, oh, I want to actually start working out. Or you could say to yourself that I'm going to watch an Arnold Schwarzenegger video and then motivate myself to get to the gym. Sure, you can do that. It's not a bad thing to watch those videos and to finally get some bit of motivation, but that motivation is not going to last. Okay. And that's why I'm all about automating behavior and creating better habits in my life. That's actually something that I'm going to discuss in part of my 6 pillars in my webinar coming up in April 13th. And I'll link that into the descriptions down below. But one way that I always tell my clients is that you have to take action first. And then once you take the actions, let's say you just slip on your tennis shoes. You might be sad, you might be in pain, your emotions might be a whole bunch of negative, but I don't care. Just take the damn action. What you do is you simply just pick up the dumbbell or you get on your shoes and you simply just start exercise. You just start taking action on the things that you know will be healthy for you. Once you take the action, 5, 10, or even 20 minutes into that workout or that routine that you're doing, you're going to start to be like, wow, I'm glad that I'm here. I'm starting to feel the motivation as I'm working out. So you see that I flip things, is that many people have to get motivated, then take action on their health. Then they start exercising. Flip the script. Take the action first, then start getting motivated during the workout. That way it leads into a positive feed forward loop where instead of you just constantly skipping your workouts, then you feel more pain, then you feel stiffer. And then you skip your workouts because you're feeling even more lethargic and stiffer again. That's a negative cycle that you don't want to be a part of. Instead, just take action and let that motivation happen once you start to be like, man, my pain in my body actually feels better while walking. It feels better because I've told myself that I'm going to move regardless of whether I'm happy or sad. So a couple strategies on what I do actually help. I use a lot of mindset strategies on how I do this. So I actually train action before motivation in a few different ways, in a few different scenarios. I train this simply by one is like, I simply will just drop down to the floor and just do 50 push-ups anywhere that I go. I actually just did this at the playground with my kid and my wife there. I just dropped down onto the playground, bunch of kids around me. I just knocked out 50 push-ups. You know why? Because I choose to train myself to simply take action no matter what. I do not have to be motivated. I simply take action. Another strategy that I use that actually I think creates a lot of hardiness and a lot of resilient mindset work is I take really ice cold showers. And I take that any time of the day. So some may hesitate. Like there are actually a lot of benefits to ice cold showers, like decreasing blood pressure, improving mood. I think it's actually, you get a quick serotonin release to actually like elevate your mood and get you out of any negative funk. There are actually a ton of benefits to like ice plunges and ice cold showers. That's not for this podcast, but why I choose to take ice cold showers is because it develops a more resilient mind. It forces me to say to myself, I'm not going to hesitate. I know this is going to be cold. I know I'm going to be shivering. I know it's not going to feel comfortable. I know that warm water actually feels a lot more comfortable on my skin. But what I'm going to do is I simply just take off my clothes, go butt naked, turn on the cold shower, immediately just press it. Cold shower starts to run all across my face and my head. Yes, it's cold. Yes, it doesn't feel good. But you know what that does? It translates and it bleeds into so many other aspects of my life. I realize that in my business, I simply just take action. I don't second guess things. When I go to the gym 5 days per week, every single week, is that I don't hesitate to do it. I simply just 5:45 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, hit my alarm clock, immediately just go to the bathroom, get my clothes on, and go straight to the gym. It doesn't take motivation. It doesn't take motivation anymore. Okay. So with that, in regard to that, and why I'm saying that to you at the end of this is that you need to realize that your life is worth living. And if you're going to let pain, let negative emotions, let sadness, let fear, let anxiety, let depression, if you let all of those negative emotions just create this concoction in your head and in your body that my body's in pain, so I'm not going to do anything, or I'm just going to rest, or I'm just going to do the easy stuff, guess what? It's going to be a lot harder. It's going to be a lot more of a struggle for you later. Imagine that you have some sort of pain issues right now, but imagine because you decided to not exercise, not eat right, not take care of your health for 20 years down the road, is now you have some sort of heart failure. Now you have some sort of heart disease. Now at that point, because you are actually dying, now you're forced to take the action. But think about it this way. If you're forced to take the action, if you've been not motivated for majority of your life, are you even going to take action at that point? Some will, because some are like, okay, I'm dying, so now I have to take massive action. Or you might just say to yourself, I'm not willing to work hard, right? This is my mistakes. This is the way I live life. So be it. And so these are actually the choices that we make. Okay. But I want to tell you that your life is worth living. It's not just yourself that you're relying on. There are people that love you, that rely on you, that care for you, that love you, that respect you, that you've had an impact on their life. And so when you know that you've had that impact, imagine when they're looking at you in your current situation with pain and other diseases. Does that make them feel better? Are you a role model to them still? You have to take the actions have to speak for itself. There's this poem that I want to use to end this podcast episode on. And it's a poem that I've never memorized, but I know exactly what the gist of it is. And it's by Robert Frost. It's called The Path Not Taken. And what this is about is basically about a traveler, and he has two forks in the road. This fork in the road, there's two roads. And one road is nice, it's paved, it's very sunny, there's birds chirping. That path is looking really nice. It's like the yellow brick road. It's a very nice path. It looks very comforting. It looks easy to do. And so you might want to take that path. Another path, it looks much more treacherous. There's bats. The trees aren't as nice. The trees are all leafless. They don't have any leaves on it. It's like an episode out of the Halloween episode. And that looks a lot more treacherous. There's lightning. It looks a lot harder. It looks a lot more challenging. There's a lot of twigs and rocks on the road. It looks much less paved. You might trip and fall, and you might hurt yourself. And so these paths here are the paths that you decide to take with your health and with your pain. You can say to yourself, I'm going to take this nice paved road. And this paved road might be you just going through the motions, you just watching Netflix all day, you just getting some temporary fixes for your pain, slapping an ice pack, medication. Okay. A lot of these temporary things that only last in the short term. Okay. Usually the easier stuff in life are oftentimes not what leads to the long-term results. If anything, the easier stuff is actually what creates a lot more long-term repercussions down the road. And that's exactly what I'm saying about this traveler who decides that this easy path is the path that I want to take. The other path, though, is the harder path. This harder, more treacherous, lonely, darker, lightning-filled path. This path looks horrible. It's raining on this path. But you know what? This path is the harder path. This path challenges you. This path is you picking up those dumbbells. It's that path of you actually driving to the gym consistently and actually using your gym membership. This is the path where you say to yourself, I'm not going to be distracted by social media. I'm not going to be distracted by the many other convenient, quick dopamine release things in life. And I'm actually going to start getting to bed on time. I'm going to start eating. I'm going to start doing this because I care not just for myself, I care for the needs of others. I know that I'll have greater purpose and I'll optimize all aspects of my life when I start to take care of me. You choose that path. I always remember this poem because it sticks out so much to me in terms of my own path where I was just putting heat packs on myself. I was just trying to do the easiest and fastest ways to get by. But you know what? I was still in pain. It wasn't until I really started to exercise consistently, do all the necessary little things in my life to optimize every aspect of my health is when I started to notice that chronic pain, that's a thing of the past. It's simple. It's easy to get rid of when I can develop the right habits and the right lifestyle that allows me to not just live the life I want to now at the age of 34, but live the life I want later on into my 60s and 70s and well beyond. And so these are your choices. Like I said, I've said that probably 20 times during this podcast. These are your choices. This is your actions. You can either take subpar actions and yield subpar results. You can either take massive action and finally start to see the changes that you want in your life. And so just to recap again, number one is looking at if you work hard now, take it much easier, have a much better quality of life later. But if you take it easy now, it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a lot harder, and that's a guarantee. Number two is chronic pain is not just physical. It's very psychosocial in nature. Think about your 4 pillars of life, which is relationships, finance, health, as well as your purpose. Knock one stool over. If you knock over the leg, which is your health, it's going to affect all the others. And lastly, number 3 is you got to say to yourself that in order to, for you to take that action, you know that your life is worth living. Your life is worth living. If we only have one life to live, if that's what you truly believe, why not start taking the actions now? So that's what I got for you guys today. Hopefully you guys found a lot of motivation from that episode. Also, if you are interested in joining me on April 13th at 5 p.m. Pacific time, I will be doing a free live training called Sustainable Pain Freedom. This is April 13th, Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. If you want more information on that, go to the description in this podcast episode and simply click and register. Make sure that you do get an email confirmation, or go to this website here, www.FlexwithDoctorJay.online/pain freedom. No spaces in between, FlexwithDoctorJay.online/pain freedom. Make sure to register. This will be on April 13th at 5 p.m. Pacific time. It is going to be a blast. This is a lot of information, much more information than you'll get from any one podcast episode. So you are going to learn a ton about this. If there is any feedback for me and this podcast, definitely feel free to send a quick text 415-965-6580, or simply email me at jason@FlexwithDoctorJay.com. I respond to all of my posts directly. And I'll leave you always with these last words of advice. We only have one body, one life. Make every action you take be one that makes you a better version of you. Take care.